Today I'm with Chef Max Natmessnig at Chef's Table at Brooklyn Fair. Max, great to be here in your living room, basically, right?
Exactly.
And you brought the fly fishing equipment that you use most often. It looks to me like a trout setup, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a trout setup. I came from Austria, where I bought the gear from my best friends from Secret Fly Fishing, from Case in Vienna, from Thomas and Sebastian. So I definitely want to support them.
Yeah.
And obviously Austria is kind of a trout area where you fish mostly trout. So I'm still a beginner. I wouldn't say that I'm a pro yet.
Yeah.
So that's why I mostly went for trout fishing with the boys there in Vienna. That's also where we met later on in Vex.
Yeah.
Where we had an awesome time.
Right.
Also with Christian, he was there.
How did you get into fly fishing in the first place, Max?
Fly fishing, it was because of Thomas and Sebastian.
Oh.
I just started when I was very young with my cousin carp fishing in Austria.
With the fly rod?
No, sadly not.
Yeah.
With the regular rod.
Yeah.
But then I went on a fishing camp when I was 6 years old, and there was this old fisherman who came, there's a funny story, with the fly rod, fishing for carp. And I remember till this day with the cherry. It was cherry season, and it was a long river, and on the opposite side of the river was a lot of cherry trees. So he casted there with the cherry floating on top, almost like this bread. You know that?
Yeah, like a bread fly.
Like a bread fly, just with a red cherry.
So he had tied a cherry like an artificial cherry.
Exactly. Like a cherry on the hook, and the carp took it, and I was like, this is insane. And he let me try it.
Yeah.
And I caught a carp on that, and I was like,
no. I've never heard about that. I know there's some fish, I think it's somewhere in Middle America, where they eat berries and even jump out of the water to get them off the tree. But
and it was like it was not the regular carp. It was like the first species, which I think is the Amur carp, wild carp.
Yeah.
It's more like stream,
a little slender. Yeah. That makes
different
sense.
Scales, and he took it, and it was an insane moment.
Funny.
And that day on, I was like, I have to go fly fishing.
Yeah.
And I never had the chance because I was always traveling and working in different fishings. And then when I came back to Austria, on the same time, Thomas and Sebastian reopened their fly shop.
Yeah.
And I thought, now it's time to go with them.
Yeah.
And in Lech, especially because it was a seasonal restaurant.
Yeah.
We had off-season, and always in the off-season, I would go with them.
That's nice.
In Lower Austria, fly fishing. We even tried one time for...
Yeah.
How do you call it?
Like a taimen.
Like a taimen.
Yeah.
But like typical for Austria.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But sadly, we didn't catch anything. It was deep in the winter, but we saw a huge, like easy, like 6 feet long.
They're big fish.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And the winter is the time to fish for them traditionally over where I live as well. And like you're saying, they're very hard to catch, but you can catch them on the fly rod. And when I explain it to people, I'm often saying, these are not forcibly big rivers, right? Yeah. So some of the rivers are like 30 feet wide, but they still have ujo. And then every once in a while when you catch one, I am always so surprised to see them myself because you wouldn't expect it, right? And so I live in Munich where you also work, right? And even there in the springtime, it's an amazing sight because if you walk over one of the bridges, I don't know if you've done that, you can see the fish spawn there in the springtime.
That's crazy.
And so you have those freestone rivers, you see the gravel at the bottom, and those fish, like you said, without exaggeration, they're that big, right?
Yeah.
And you see them hold and then meet there. And that is just an amazing sight that I think is hardly possible in any other city that has more than 1 million inhabitants, which Munich has, right? So
that's absolutely true, yeah.
Do you fish for grayling also in Austria where you
Yes, I used to love fish for grayling, especially where my hometown is in Sabersdorf. We always went there. There was a small river, especially for grayling.
Yeah.
And I caught a couple graylings there, and it's always a very special moment for me because grayling is kind of a rare fish. It gets rarer and rarer because it's so sensitive.
Exactly.
All the ecological systems, waterfalls and whatnot.
Yeah.
So for me, it was always a very special moment to catch grayling.
Yeah. From what I heard from that area where you lived and I lived, it's a bit on the uptick again. It seems that the grayling are having a bit of a comeback. But like you're saying, they're often also easy prey for birds, for example, because they hold in places where it's not very deep. So then, they get picked up by a cormorant or a merganser. So it's tough, But this would be the outfit you could fish for grayling as well. Is that a 5-weight rod?
Yes, that's a 5-weight rod. I really like it. You can really go on the distance.
Yeah.
You can really try to really target the fish, target the feeding area, so the fly really drags into his side.
Yeah.
And I love the rods.
What sort of reel do you have with it?
It's the trout reel.
Yeah, the Mirage.
Exactly. Also from Orbis.
Yeah.
Sebastian Thomas really helped me out on that.
Yeah.
I have it since day one, and I really like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's always great in the beginning, I think, if you have someone who really knows how to put together an outfit, because otherwise, sometimes you're a little off. And
exactly. And they super supported me, and I also wanted to support them because for them, it was their first and new business.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's absolutely it.
When you go out, do you only bring a vest, or do you bring more gear, or are you rather on the sort of minimal style
side? On the minimal style, I bring my vest, but in the car, I still have more gear.
Yeah,
especially more flies.
Yeah,
depending on the season, I have nymph, I have dry fly.
Yeah,
and I have to. I'm not sure how they are called when they are like on the surface, but they go a little bit down.
Yeah, like emergers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and with those, I think it's the perfect setup. Sometimes when I go with Marcus Walker, upstate.
You guys go together?
Yes, we always go together.
Oh, that's nice.
He always takes me on a Monday morning.
Yeah,
for the whole day.
Cool.
Yes, and especially there in Roscoe, you have some fly fish shops.
Yeah,
and they always help you out with what's in season.
Yeah,
what the fish likes to eat at the moment.
Yeah,
so that's always very helpful.
That's a very nice neighborhood. I've been up there with Christian as well, and I always am surprised that so many fly shops still exist there. Right? It just goes to show that apparently they're doing good business up there.
Yes, and it's known for. They say it's the birthplace of fly fishing, which makes it even more historical, emotional for everybody just to go there and really dive into history and go fishing there.
And which stretches up there have you fished?
We normally go with Marcus to Roscoe, Beaverkill, and later on the same day we go to the West Branch.
Yeah,
yes,
that's a very nice area as well.
Yes,
it's a very traditional trout setting.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's great. Got it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nice water up there. I was up there as well, and I think the East Branch, it's very nice and still very remote, especially in the evenings when we fish there.
Yes,
you can have great hatches, not too many people around.
Yes,
if you know where to go, it's an excellent water. It has cold water. Throughout the year.
West Branch, I believe, as well.
West Branch also, it's very nice. Obviously, when we were there were a lot of boats on the water.
Yes,
so that was
me too.
A bit more traffic out there.
Some tourism there.
Yeah,
especially also when I went the first time, and we went super early. Marcus picked me up at 5 a.m. We were there. 2.5 hours later.
Yeah,
and it was a lot of people already standing in the river, which I'm not kind of used to from Austria and Munich as well.
Yeah,
sure you know that.
Yeah,
you go there, you're alone on the river.
Yeah,
and you can just pick your spot. And
that's true.
The guy was like, "Yeah, you have to give us a little more space."
Yeah,
I just didn't know that.
Yeah. No, I get it. You have to get used to that.
Absolutely.
And if you and Marcus go out fishing, do you ever take a fish and prepare it?
Never. No.
Catch and release only?
Always catch and release.
Yeah.
We always go for catch and release.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think that's the magic. That's what fly fishing is all about.
Yeah.
The core value when you go fly fishing, you're out there, you can really go in zen mode. You try to fish the whole day. You can really relax.
Yeah.
And you catch one and it's amazing, like a picture, and you really see it again.
Nice. And did you know Marcus before, or did you meet through fly fishing?
We met through cooking.
Yeah.
Before already, we knew each other from, he worked at Styrek, and I always followed his path, his career. Then he went to Gordon Ramsay to London, and then to Gordon Ramsay in New York.
Yeah.
Had 2 Michelin stars.
Yeah.
So, and then when I came the first time to New York, we always met, we knew each other.
Yeah.
But the first time we actually went fishing was this year.
Nice.
Yes, because he started also fly fishing through COVID.
Yeah.
He bought a car, he bought a whole setup.
Yeah.
And then he got hooked and always went.
That's funny. I've experienced that so often that people who start, really get into it. I've hardly met someone who fly fishes who does it sort of, irregularly. Yeah. Most of the people that start doing it, they love it so much that they, do it all the time whenever they have the time.
They get directly hooked, and then it's something very special. We even have a guest. We had it 2 weeks ago. It's a crazy guy from Mexico with a dad. It's 2 sons, I think, and they got into fly fishing because of their dad. Yeah, and they're traveling all over the world. They go to New Zealand. They go to, I think, South America. Yeah, showed me a picture with like this huge, crazy fish.
Arapaima, maybe?
I think so.
Like big scales.
Yes, big scales, huge mouth.
Yeah,
and they go in with the helicopter. Wow. And nobody has ever touched the river. Yeah, so the fish doesn't know. Yeah. So the second he throws I think it's a streamer, I'm not sure.
Probably like a big streamer.
Fish just attacks it right away. Yeah. And he was very proud of those videos. So it was also very special.
Have you done any saltwater fishing out here in the New York area?
Sadly not.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's something that you would enjoy as well.
I would really love that. Yeah, especially I heard in Montauk, Long Island, you can really go for when it's bass season. You can
season
there. very special.
Algae fishing is very nice as well.
Yes,
That's something. What I enjoy about it is the fact that you sight fish for those fish, right? So, like you said before, you understand where the fish are. You have to sort of find what they're feeding on. But then when you get in close, you have the chance to get one of those amazing fish. And I think striped bass, the way they look, albies as well. I'm always surprised that a fish of the same size in salt water is so much stronger than a freshwater fish. So, for example, if you take even a 20-inch striper on an 8 or 9 wet rod, you have the impression you hooked into a really big fish, right? Because differently than in a river, they can pretty much go anywhere. So often they just go down deep or left, right, wherever. And it's really a lot of fun because you can catch them really up close. I was just out with a friend last weekend, and if they feed around your boat, you can actually see them take your fly, right? So you strip in the fly, and all of a sudden, one of them takes your fly.
But do you
it's
see
a great
them
thing.
before?
So the way it works in fall most of the time is that you see the birds that feed on bait, and they do that most often because the bass are somewhat around or underneath, and they push the bait up, and then the birds feed on that. In the springtime, it's a little different. You have to find the fish. The water is clearer, and you can see the fish, and then you can sort of intercept their way and cast to them.
On the surface.
On the surface even,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, they're underwater, obviously, but you can see them go around in the flats, and it's a very visual fishery. In fall, I like that as well because you can see the birds sort of sitting around, and then all of a sudden they become a little nervous, and you can sense that something is going on, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a blitz is happening, and the bass start feeding, right? Wow. And if you're in the right spot at the right time, you can really have an amazing fishery. But obviously, there are also days where you go around. We had that on Saturday, for example. It was a beautiful day, and you just keep looking, and you keep looking, and sometimes it happens that you don't find them.
Yeah.
I mean, we got lucky. We found fish on both days. And I always think, like you said before, going upstate, Zen mode, I think even being out and just having the chance to catch one, even if you don't end up catching one, it's still a great day, right?
Absolutely. It's very magical. And being out in nature, you have fresh air, you have the sun.
Yeah.
It's just being out there.
Do you ever, if you go out there, prepare any sort of meal when you go fishing?
No, we never. So the first time we went, I was like, hopefully we go for lunch or somewhere.
Yeah.
And they were hardcore.
Yeah.
And we went the whole day with nothing.
Yeah.
Not a drop of water, no nothing.
Wow.
So I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And next time I brought an energy bar, some water, and I definitely knew.
Yeah. Chris and I had a chat with Tom Rosenbauer as well. He said the same thing, right? He goes out to the Catskills to fish. Boom. No lunch whatsoever. If the fishing's good, he's just going to keep going.
Exactly. Because it's your spot and you don't want to lose the spot.
Yeah. It's so nice to see that passion and the drive, right? Of people of every age. If the fishing's good, if the bite's on, they'll just go for it.
Yeah, true.
Great, Max. I hope we get to fish soon together.
Yes, would love
maybe out here or over in Austria.
Yes,
and it was great to come over and meet you here, and hope we'll see each other again soon.
Absolutely, yes.
Thanks a lot. Pleasure.